I am Melanie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the village. This is Roderick Daly, listening out to each and every one of you right here with John Sampson.
I can't hear you.
Right, um, right here with John Sampson and Andre Doman in studio, waiting for Dr. Joanne Bryan to join us, and Sophia Willisey backstage. Just letting everyone know that you're right here on the Village Radio Talk Show on 92.1 GDFM, where it's all about the community. We're dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any time, at any age, starting from today. I think we're going to hear a little my favorite song there. Let me just tune that right in. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Uh,
The
oh,
baby, the baby song. I heard a baby.
I didn't hear no. I heard a baby too.
Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Good evening, everyone. Just waiting for Roderick and John to get their sound on.
Oh,
Mr.
there you
Daly.
go.
Oh,
Go ahead.
there you go.
We were muted in the studio.
Good evening, villagers, on this Holy Thursday, the day
Yes.
before Good Friday, and Resurrection on Sunday. Resurrection Sunday. And before we get started, I'd like to read a scripture. And it's coming from Matthew chapter 26, verses 31 through 35. Jesus predicts Peter's denial. Then Jesus told them, "This very night you will all fall away on account of me, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have risen, I will go ahead of you into Galilee." Peter replied, "Even if all fall away on account of you, I never will." "Truly, I tell you," Jesus answered, "this very night, before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times.
You want to make a comment on it?
My comment is this: Jesus knew that Peter would betray him, and it was all right with him. It was all right with him because he knew what the end result was. and he wanted to hold no malice and let them know that I will go, I will, I will forgive you at some point. But I just want to let you know that, you know, your faith may be wavering, but your denial of who I am could be everlasting, but I will not allow it because I will forgive you. So, you know, Jesus knew what was going to happen. However, he forgave him.
Yeah, just want to add.
But I don't forgive.
I want to add something to.
But that I call that the rat scripture.
I knew it was coming.
The rat.
So John, I just want to add to what John is saying. I'm not going to use the word rat, but I'm going to say that we got to be careful of who's in our camp. All right, because sometimes we think that there are people in our camp and they will deny us and deny our truths.
Like every shine teeth isn't for you.
Right, exactly. So people, please be aware of the Peters and the Jew. Peter, though he denied Christ, right, he did not betray him like Judas did, right? Because ultimately he still went back to the word of God. He denied him, saying, I guess because he felt scared, right? He felt scared. So the denial came from our natural tendency to be fearful. But Judas was a betrayer because he sold Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, and eventually he hung himself from his betrayal, because you can't live with that level of denial. And so many people who are, as John called them, rats, when they're in your camp, they will step away from it. There's so much. Hey, Sophia, how you doing? Say what's up. Everybody say what's up to Sophia.
Hey,
Joanne, did you bring greetings? I don't remember if we asked you to bring greetings. Did you bring greetings? What's
Good
going
evening, everyone.
Good evening, Dr. Brian. How are you?
Don't ask her. Don't ask her. Don't ask her. Don't ask her. Unless you're gonna give more than a 3-word answer, don't answer.
Happy Thursday. God is
Okay, all right.
Thursday.
Let's
Happy
move on.
This
Let's
is a holy.
Andre, how you doing, Andre?
yeah. How you doing, Andre? Use the mic, Andre. Don't you talk to that. Use the mic. Tell us how you
You
doing.
know what?
We're gonna ignore Dr. Bryant. Go ahead. How you doing?
Testing.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm doing very well and awesome. More than 3 words.
Kumbaya, man. Hey, kudos to my domino team, by the way. They won. We won our first match this weekend. We beat last Sunday. We won the game by 2 points, right? We're going to 150, and our first match, and beat one of the teams that were one of the team that was one of our great rivals, right? And so, kudos to Rising Star Domino Club and the U.S. Domino League. We meet every Sunday. If you want to come play dominoes, learn how to play, enjoy the game, you link me up on our village talk show. I think one day I'm going to try to see if Andrea can come out on a Sunday and stream some of the match on our YouTube.
Here we go, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
So let's get started. There's so many things happening in the news. What time is our first guest schedule, Andre? 7:30. So let's start backwards. Right. Let's start backwards.
Wait, I want to add something. Today, I don't know what's happening around. People have actually lost their minds, going to the school buildings and attacking school safety. This is the second school safety attack I heard in a week. Today, a guy got stabbed in the Bronx, PS 69. So that happened earlier today.
I want to leave all of the violence conversation out for a minute, because when our first guests come on, we want to talk about that, right? We want to set the conversation up, right? So let's talk about what we can talk about before to get there, right? That makes sense, right?
Now we need to talk about. We need to, Dr. Bryant was right about the slashing.
And then just the slashing,
but violence with what happened in the I think Tuesday,
the subway,
and
the killing, the Astoria, Queens, with the machete by the police.
With the machete by the police,
we have something happened in Michigan also with the guy that was with the police officer shot the guy and killed him, right? So in the back of the head. So wait though, I don't want to talk about the violence yet. There's so much.
I'm just talking about what she said. People lost their freaking mind.
Let's not talk about that though. Let's not talk about that. Let's our mayor. Let's go to our mayor first, right? Our mayor.
He's feeling better.
He's feeling better. I had a 1-word answer with him yesterday. I reached out. I got a 1-word answer. So how you feeling? He says, I'm doing great. So that means that he's recovering, and he's been on TV a couple of times as well. So,
You know what?
it-
I feel bad for him.
it's funny, right? Because I was in Albany this weekend,
Mm.
and so everybody knows that, I know the mayor, and from time to time we talk, right? So everybody was like, Rudy, were you hanging out with Eric? Were you hanging out? I'm like, no, we were in the same room, but I know who he is, John, and I'm not a groupie. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him over there and go like, oh, let me go run and hey, hey, mayor. And I don't do all of that crap. I don't have no time for that. So even though we're in the same room, on the other side, there are all those bodyguards. So no, I did not. I saw Jamani. I said hello, hung out with him for a minute while he was going crazy dancing, at the chairman's reception. You know how he loves to dance. And then a couple of times at the after party at the Hilton. But after that, I really didn't hang out with I hung out with my group, my CSA group, my council for supervisors and administrators. We're hanging out. We have a ball. Congratulations, Gabe, on your proclamation that you got from Tom DiNapoli. So, but I'm glad that the mayor's doing okay. And that reminds me about the COVID, right? So a couple of important questions about COVID. One, according to a new study, how true or false it is, it says because of the vaccine, and chime in, people out there, I want to ask questions. They say good evening, Monet, right? They
Big
said
Mo,
that
good
because
evening.
they said that because of the COVID vaccine, it saved 2.2 million lives. 2.2 million lives. What are your thoughts on that? And I really wanted to, it's burning me to talk about this violence, but I'm trying to hold it off for a minute. Go ahead. Because New York is going crazy. But what do you think about the
I want to know
your
where
thought?
that study came from. There are 2.2 million people. How do they determine that?
I think it's a good question. But do you believe it though?
No,
Why not?
because
I believe it. I believe it. I think I don't.
You
I
go
believe.
to-
Wait. I believe MSNBC is MSNBC.
they tell you to
I
take
curse.
10 vaccine, hey, continue to take it, boost your
Sorry.
body. You're gonna believe it too.
Oh, that's cold. I didn't take the fourth vaccine. I'm over 50. I just became over 50, but I didn't do the second COVID vaccine. John, what do you think? You think those numbers are correct? 2.2 million?
Irrespective of the numbers, we have to.
Don't tell me no irrespective of no numbers. The
brother,
question
you
is
asked
wait, and the question
Could
that I asked
answer-
you was,
could I
do
answer
you
my question?
believe the numbers
Are you
is
gonna
correct?
Are you going to answer the question for me?
Yeah, I'm not answering, but you're copping out. You're
Are
doing a
you
Joanne.
going to allow me to answer the question? You're going to answer it for me? No.
I'm not answering for you. I just want you to answer the question, but irrespective. Respect my foot.
Irrespective of the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
I think there needs to be some consensus as to how we're going to deal with COVID, because COVID is going to be here, and the mask mandates, the non-mandates, the non-mask. I think people are just getting tired. Be tired of the inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be safe, but now until I think May 13th or whatever it is, COVID vaccine program prevented millions of deaths. I can understand that, Roger, but
She was asking where the numbers came from.
But it came from ABC News. But what is the feeling in the community and what's going on? The people are up to their necks with this COVID talk. They just want some form of consistency. If we're going to continue to wear masks, just say we're going to continue to wear masks.
Say it again.
1 minute we're wearing masks for a month, and then we're not wearing it for a couple of weeks, and then we go back. It's the inconsistencies that exist, and it's all due to the numbers. And that's what the mayor is basing it upon. He's looking at the numbers. If they go up, then we go with the mask. So there needs to be, we're dealing with. Let's stick with the science, and if the science says this is what we have to do, because I think what people are saying is there's so many inconsistent studies and resources that they're hearing things. If the science says that the numbers are ticked, let's continue wearing our mask in those areas. Right?
Well, Pennsylvania went back to wearing their masks, implementing the indoor mask regulations. You think we're going to go back to that if the numbers continue to go?
I think if the numbers continue to go up, yes.
Yeah,
and the numbers are going up. The numbers are going up because more more people are engaging with. Come on, man! I put the mic in my mouth. engaging with one another. Or I mean, some events I see some, people. You see these things on Instagram and Facebook parties.
Yeah, and Roderick is infamous for going to all these parties.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true, Mr. Deal. I saw you. I saw you in Albany they had you on Facebook at some of these parties. There at least two,
wow,
300
and
people
everything.
there.
Yeah,
and
go
you
on.
were not wearing a mask, Mr. Deal.
At all.
You know what? I'm guilty.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm guilty.
You've been guilty for a while. You've been
Wait, wait.
guilty for a while. Okay.
No. I do wear my mask though, but I really wasn't wearing none of that day.
Mhm.
And it was funny because my friend walked over and we were talking, and you see the with me partying. I did not know that was Lori Combo. I felt so ashamed.
Oh, how do you know it wasn't in Lori
But,
Combo? Commissioner Combo.
Right, Commissioner. The reason what happened why I didn't know it was Commissioner Combo, because normally she has short hair, right?
Yeah.
And so when I saw this long hair person like Joanne, I was like, "Who's that?"
She grew her hair.
She grew her hair. So I was like, I remember black people. One day it's long, one day it's short, the next day it's curly, the next day it's dreads.
It's called weave.
I don't want to say that.
It's
called bob and weave. It's called bob and weave.
Weave or wave? Which one?
It's called braids. Okay, braids.
It's called braids.
Yes, it's called.
It's called weave or wig. Which one is it?
I think
it's not a wig. It's braids. Let's try it.
No, I think it was a wig.
As he said.
But she looked good.
I mean, says extensions in the hair, bamboo earrings, and at least one there, one Fendi bag, and a bad attitude.
That's all I need to get.
Yeah, he's
Cool J all the way. Yeah,
he's saying it like he knows all the words. So a couple of things. So that was one. Two, Ukraine they just sunk a ship over there in.
According to Russia, it's propaganda. No, they didn't.
Yeah, right. I'm pissed off that I finally heard the word war on CNN.
Yes, I heard it today too.
Yeah, they finally used the invasion, right?
They said it. They said it today. I think it was Biden's people who said it. It was war.
It was war. Yeah, finally they said is a, and they might charge him with genocide.
Yeah.
Hey, Doc,
here's my question, John.
Hey, Doc,
John,
the only thing I gotta say, Doc, as soon as they said war, you got very animated.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo!
So don't tell me you're a warmonger.
No.
She's Haitian, man. They love war.
Nah, the warmonger.
Wait. Got it. I gotta look in her face, yo. No, in all seriousness, though, they want to charge that bomb genocide, which I'm glad for. Speaking of Haiti, did anything materialize with the president? Anything new?
Nothing.
They still haven't found out fully.
They still have no president.
They still have no president?
No, of course not.
That's interesting. Andre, I think I pulled up. Do me a favor, just pull back to today for me, please. Right. So the prime minister is still the leader. What about leads in terms of what's happening with who caused that death more than a year ago? I know they said that they had arrested somebody in Jamaica, somebody else somewhere around the world. What's the update on that?
I don't know. No updates. I don't know. I tuned out now. I'm completely tuned out.
Okay. On the flip side, Jamaica just removed all of the COVID. As of tomorrow, you have no COVID restriction to go to Jamaica. You don't need to take a COVID test or nothing, but you still need one to come back to the United States.
We give credit to the new ambassador, Ambassador Perry.
Yeah, Ambassador Perry must have said that. His first
order action as ambassador, get rid of the mandates.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
All right, you go ahead, Ambassador Perry. And congratulations to Ambassador.
Yes. Yeah, he got honored this weekend up there in Albany, actually. He got the Percy Sutton Award, which is a very prestigious award given to an individual who has had great impact on the political landscape here in New York State. So congratulations to him on that. And not only that, there was an election today, right? So his seat is up. So on May 24th, I believe the Tuesday, whatever that Tuesday is of that week, there'll be a special election for assembly. Right, so they're doing a special election, and today was the county vote.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm not asking.
So what about the primary?
Yeah, so whoever wins, they're gonna be in there for a month, and then they're gonna have the primary in June.
So who has the
Monique.
Monique?
So Monique got the nod at the special election today. As a matter of fact, she went up uncontested. All right, so she went on. So she's gonna have the Democratic slate come May, on that election day. So so there are three people running in that seat. You have Corey Provost, who's the district leader.
Corey is running now.
Yeah, Corey, he was running. Yeah, he was always running.
He's running for assembly now.
He's running for assembly, yeah. So you have Corey Provost, you have Monique Waterman, you have Hercules Reed. All three of these candidates are running in the general and the primary. And the 58th, that's it.
So who's running in the special?
Monique, Corey, and Hercules. All three of them are running in the special.
And then they're gonna
run again in the general, in the primary in June.
Villagers, that is what you call a waste of money
and time.
That's a waste of money and time.
Why?
To sit there hold on. You know how much it's going to cost to run that election and then run the same election?
Wait. What did you say cost? Wait. What did you say cost? I just want you to give an explanation to the public. Cost to the public or cost to the candidates?
It's going to be cost to the public. The Board of Election has to open up. Second of all, they have to pay all the poll workers and everybody else. There's going to be the count. And then that whole process is going to be repeated again in, less than 30 days.
Yeah, less than 30. But there's another side to look at it though, John.
What's the other side?
The other side to look at it is to say that that they're creating some jobs, right? Because people have to work.
Creating
the money is there.
But that's the whole point. They're creating jobs. It's being wasteful. That money can be used for something else. And this is why people.
But for whom? I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
If you let me finish,
mm-hmm.
I would tell you that this is just a power political move, and that's all it is. To be plain and simple, because to put someone in office for less than 30 days, what I can understand if their vote was needed for the budget, but the budget has already been passed. What legislation is the incumbent going to pass within those 3.5 weeks? What meaningful legislation? None. Her vote is going to be needed. His or her vote's going to be needed for none. So then to turn around in less than 30 days and conduct another election, this is a total waste of government resources and it's purely political. This is why our villages, this is why people in our community don't like politics. This is the prime example. This is a total power grab by those elected officials in that 58. Or no, total power grab. This is definitely a total power grab. It makes absolutely no sense. This is pure government waste. And the candidate who, if I was the candidate running against whoever the incumbent is, I would just say, this is an example of a candidate who supports government waste. I would tally up how much it costs to run this election and saying, you know what, ladies and gentlemen in the 58th, my constituents, possible constituents, this is the money that was wasted because it was purely a political decision. And this is not even a couple hundred. This is about $1 million, $2 million. And that $2 million could have came in the district to be very helpful.
See, but my only problem is that if they don't, I see them. If they, you made me lose track. Would that $2 million or whatever that number is, whether it's 100,000 or $2 million, right? To operate that, would that have really gone back into community or would they have wasted it on something else?
That would have gone back into community.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
It would have gone into community.
I've never seen where they sent money back to the community that was not used up.
Where do you think that money comes from? That money comes from the State Board of Elections. That money comes from city government. And you know what? That money could be used for something else. They could use that $2 million and disperse it to the council members to give out discretionary monies in the community.
I think there need to be a law for that, though. They need to put that into play, put that in the city charter. I think that's a good idea.
Well, villagers, this is the perfect example of a total political power grab in the 58th Assembly District, unfortunately.
For those of you who are not familiar with the 58th Assembly District, we're talking about what's that? Central Brooklyn. We're talking about East Flatbush, Canarsie, Rugby, Remsen Village, right here in Central Brooklyn.
And
so
you know who I would blame? I would honestly, if I were the people, I would blame the Democratic candidate who got the nod for conspiring.
I don't think I would not
conspiring to have an election less than 30 days before a primary election in June. That's what I mean, if I was running the opponent's campaign, that's exactly what I would do.
Let me bring on our first guest, but I there's some validity to what you're saying. C-Man, CP, look up, man.
Hey.
Yo, wait. I forgot to ask you, man. Can I get one of those hats, man? What's going on, man?
Yeah. I gotta send you a hat. I gotta send one to my big brother John over there. I gotta send y'all a hat, man. Y'all gotta rep. So man, that came about because I went to the store to get a Yankee hat. It was $55, and I was like, "Yo, this is crazy." I got my own logo. I said, "So how much is the blank hat?" He was like $25. I said, "How much to put my logo?" He was at $15. I said, "I did the math. Doing my own logo now." See,
cha-ching. I see it. CP.
I see it.
Let me hold up. Stand up again. Let me see the left side. What does it say over there?
No, I jacked Ralph Lauren. This is Ralph Lauren. I jacked him too.
No, not him. I'm talking. Is that like the and why I see the CP for your logo? What's that on the left side?
Hold on.
The other side. Yeah. Oh, okay. I got it.
Yes. I'm jacking everybody now.
All right, no problem. You're the man. Yeah, you're the
That's
man.
trademark infringement, my brother. So be careful.
I know. You gotta be careful.
I forgot to tell you, man. You need to. I need to send you my address. I need my own autographed copy of the book. All right, so you need to send that over. We got so many questions for you though today.
Let's go. I just gotta order some books, like 40 books. So
yeah,
I'll send y'all some.
You need to send us some books so we, I don't want to talk about the book yet. I want to talk about the
You already read the book, which you don't need a book.
I don't have an autographed copy of the book.
That's
what I said.
I don't have no autographed copy.
I just said
so I don't know what's going on, man.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I don't have an autographed copy.
We roll together.
Yeah. This is the big bro. You got.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what? So let's talk about the violence. Let's do that first. Your former NYPD, your former commander of the 6-7 precinct. I don't want to use John's word, but there's a lot of shizat that's happening in violence in our community. One of them in your former command, 56, Linden and Church.
Yep.
With that Cade, God rest his soul, 12 years old, sitting in a car, bullets, he's gone, 12 years old. I sit on the community board. We just did a street code naming. Hold up. Let me just go back. I want to put this up right here. So you see it. Look, I purchased one, need mine autographed too. See that right there? All right. So I'm just telling you. All right. So looking at it, I'm pissed off. What we talking about? Joanne talked about, and John spoke about the subway with idiot Frank James. Right now we talk about putting detectors. A couple of questions that's rolling through my mind. The first one is today. My wife said, "You know what? I felt scared of going on the subway, taking the train." I hear my boy going, "I don't want my wife to be traveling in the subway." I hear Joanne talks about it, right? So tell me something from the officer perspective. Law enforcement. Talk to me about
thanks for having me. Oh yeah, you see I got the logo on the pinky ring too. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, John.
I got mine is gonna say DE for Daily Enterprises.
I just want to put this disclaimer out here because we all on this show, we have a mutual friend who's the mayor of the city of New York. So I'm just going to put this disclaimer out here right now. All right, this is not about friends. This is about what's right. Okay, so I just want to put that right out. I think what happens is I'm sad to see what's happening. Well, we're all over 50 years old. So for me, like, crime really isn't out of control, because when I was in the streets in like the 90s, early 90s, there was 2,500 homicides. Last year in New York, because bodies you can't hide the bodies. Last year, New York had less than 400 homicides. So it's really not even really violent to me. When you look in the grand scheme of things, we had like a 27-year decrease in crime. And now, really, when you looking at crime, you can't compare this year to last year. You really have to go back to 2019, because for 2 years, nobody was in the streets. We had a pandemic. Nobody was outside. And then we got a little uptick in crime. But let me tell you, I'm putting a lot of this blame on crime on the police, because since George Floyd died, people were talking about restructure, reimagine, defund police, and police feelings got hurt. And they pretty much laid down. This is an actual fact. Rudy, John, they laid down. The police haven't done anything. So if you go back 3 years, people weren't comfortable with bringing guns out in the street. But when they find out, you're looking at YouTube videos of people spitting at the cops, they're throwing water in the cops' face, they're banging up cops' cars, and the cops are standing back and they're not doing anything. So people got comfortable and said, listen, the police ain't doing anything. Well, I'm going to now come back out. There was no more worrying about stop, question, and frisk, which I don't have. I really don't have an issue with stop, question, and frisk, because it's a law. It's a United States law. Terry versus Ohio, 1968. That was the case for all your audience listeners. Terry versus Ohio gave the cops, they said, listen, if you believe that criminality is afoot, yeah, John, I'm going into my lawyer hat right here. If you believe that criminality is afoot, you can stop, question. They don't always say frisk. They say frisk for your safety. So, you know, if you think that something's going on, you should be able to stop people. But cops not stopping anybody. Forget the frisk part. The frisk is just for your safety, or if you see a bulge or whatever, right? But for the past 2 years, cops haven't done anything. And we have mayors, politicians, everybody saying gun legislation, let's get the guns out. And I'm saying, well, what about the police? The police are the only ones that's paid to protect.
Let me jump in. And,
go ahead.
You know, you are correct. And I tell everyone this. I said, since Eric has become mayor of New York City, what I look at now is the time that elapsed between a crime is committed and the person is apprehended. And you see, is no longer, a person is apprehended anywhere between 24 to 48 hours after these crimes have been committed, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that has a lot to do with the morale, the uptick in morale that the mayor has created to let the officers know that they are being supported, not only by him, but also the public. You know, and there's the public out there who are supporting them. And now they feel, let me go out and do my job. Once again, like you said, if I don't feel appreciated, you know, I go out there, I put my life on the line, and I can't get any sort of appreciation. Why am I going to do that? Why am I going to stop a kid and just the possibility I may not be able to go home and I get no appreciation whatsoever? Mm-hmm. But the tide has changed. I tell everybody, oh, yeah, there has been an increase in the numbers. But if you look at it, if you look at the morale of the police officers, the number of cops that I see walking on the streets, in the subways, and also I look the turnaround once a major crime is committed, the turnaround time is anywhere between 24 to 48 hours. The individual has been apprehended or suspect is on the watch, and they move to engage and get this individual arrested. That's what, you know, let's pay attention to. And you're right. Because when we were growing up, 25, there was 20 in East New. There were 400 bodies in East New York alone.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We're talking about 400 bodies. However,
you're talking about in the Ville too.
However, but remember now the media has grabbed hold and they sensationalize any and everything and give you the perception. It's unfortunate but true. Perception has become reality.
Right. You know, let me add one thing to that, John and Corey. When I grew up in the 80s and 90s, right? You're from Queens over there, right? I'm from John and I both from Brownsville, right? You didn't have the media outlet that they have now.
Right.
Talk about the violence. I mean, I'm talking about my neighbor. I remember James, right? I remember James, 21 years old, Christmas time, literally getting plugged. We're full of holes for that day. That wasn't hitting the media as much as it was, because back then the big thing that the late 80s, early 90s was the AIDS thing, right? So that was like the big thing that was hitting the media. 91, you're talking about it's a basketball player, Magic Johnson, coming out that he had AIDS, and those are the big. So like you're right? So, and here's the other thing that's happening, and I hate to say it, right? But it was in the black neighborhoods. So when it was in DeVille, it was in Canarsie, blacks dropped like flies. It wasn't hitting the media. Now it's touching other
Times Square, downtown.
Right. Now it's hitting the other neighborhoods.
Upper East Side, West
right
Side.
Now all of a sudden crime is out of hand. It wasn't out of hand in the 90s. It wasn't out of hand in the 80s. It was out of hand. All right. So, that's a real issue. But let's go back to the fear. The fear is real, though.
Yes.
The fear is real. All right. And so let's talk about some things that people need to look at. And then I want to ask another question. But what are some things that people need to be? People like sitting with their headphones in their ears on the train, not focusing on anything, don't know what's going on. They couldn't even ever describe the person. When they showed the person got arrested, it was like nothing that I heard. 5'5", 170. That dude ain't nowhere near 170.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know from being a police officer, like when things happen, people, they see things differently. Right. It's okay though, but that's okay. But what the police are looking for is for you to give something distinctive. Because I can tell you right now in the black and brown community that the description of a male criminal is probably between the age of 15 and 26 years old. Male black between 5'8", 5'10", whatever his complexion is, jeans and a hoodie. I got jeans and a hoodie on. Rudy got on jeans and a hoodie. Like that's just, it's not the description, it's the fashion. Yeah. So we gotta, like I tell people, you gotta pick up, like Rudy got light green strings on this. Like you gotta give something different, because when you give that description, you got 25 people that the cops should pull over, and everybody gonna say the cops is profiling. No, but if you go to a white community, it's probably gonna be jeans with a chain on his left pocket and a motorcycle jacket. So we got to do a little different. I know the description was off, but you got to understand, people, gunshots is firing, people got smoke in their face, all kind of stuff. I'm just bugging how the guy sitting next to him sat there and watched him pull out a smoke grenade, actually lighted without jumping on top of this guy. I would have been on top of that guy. I would have been an American hero.
Yeah, but I think the fear factor stepped in. I know, Joanne. I know. I was just excited. Go ahead.
Wait, a mutual individual that we know, Roger, was there on the train with his daughter, bring his daughter to school. So now the trauma that he experienced, his child experience, is something totally different. Here it is, you're all psych in the morning, you're half awake. You're going to work, the kids are going to school, chewing, whatever. So they're not fully awake. And then, like you just said, the guy should have jumped on top. Nobody's jumping on top of anybody. They still sleeping. They haven't had no coffee or nothing yet.
I would have been jumping on top of that guy. I would have made love to that guy right there on that train. Everybody would have.
Kumbaya, man.
He ain't killing me on this train. I ain't going down. But like you said, Rudy, so
the average man is
people got to be vigilant. Everybody has to be vigilant. It's the society we living in. Everybody got to be my brother's keeper, especially on this. I'm not going to lie. I'm scared to get on the train. I'm scared to death to get. First person I called was my daughter. She's a cop. Second was my cousin. She gets on the train in Manhattan. And I know all of y'all was probably calling people, but everybody got to be vigilant. I don't care what it is. Call 911. That's their job, to take phone calls. If you see something out of place, just call. That's their job, to take the calls and just let the cops vet it out. Because we can't have a cop on every train. John will tell you the transit system is too big. And there was cops going to that's not a priority train station. So you're talking about Times Square, downtown Brooklyn, where the kid.
What does that mean, by the way?
Explain
to the audience what the priority train station is.
The priority stations are like Times Square, Parsons and Archer and Queens, where the kid got shot yesterday. What's that by the Nets Stadium? What station is
Barclays.
that?
Barclays.
Atlantic
Yeah,
Avenue.
Atlantic Terminal. Like these are priority stations where cops will be posted. That station over there isn't a priority station. So what they'll have is they'll do what they call park, walk, and talk. So the cops from the precinct will have to park, get out of their car, walk down to the train station, check in, check with the booth person, check the station, make sure everything is good. But they're not going to be parked there because the crime just doesn't, the numbers don't match. They have to put the cops where the numbers match. And the high priority stations are going to get the foot post that's stationary.
Now, I'm going to switch the topic just a little, and it's touch along the line. What's going on with all these crazy people jumping and attacking people in the school system who are also NYPD school safety officers? One got punched the other day, one got stabbed today, slashed. So what's going on with that? Do they fall under the police department in regards to the protection that they receive, or no?
Yes, they do. So I'm not an advocate for cops in schools. I don't think cops should be in schools. All right. They have school safety. School safety is unarmed. I'm all for unarmed.
That is a school safety agent.
Right. School safety unarmed. So you got to understand, like, we have two problems in America, not just New York City. Mental health is a problem and drugs is a problem. Yeah. We've been doing the war on drugs since the 70s. It don't work. The only way you can deal with an addiction is three ways: counseling, treatment, and education. The NYPD needs to get out of the business of locking up people with criminal possession of marijuana, criminal possession of cocaine, heroin. We need to start giving people treatment, counseling, and education. So that goes with the whole defund. Take that big budget that cops make all this money on overtime. Imagine you took all of that money that cops is making on overtime and you put programs into the communities for treatment, counseling, and education. You can't lock your way out of addiction. And I hate that they send cops on these mental health calls. You look at a state like Oregon. Oregon got this program for your audience called CAHOOTS, CAHOOTS. They had it for over 25 years. Whenever they get a call for somebody in mental distress, they call a unit that has trained medical professionals. They go there. Guess how many people they killed in 25 years? 0. And they never have to call the cops because mental health professionals like a Rudy, educator, he knows how to go and de-escalate the situation. You got to understand, cops don't get that much training. They're in the academy for 6 months. They got gun, they got driver's training, domestic violence, emotionally disturbed person. They got all this training. They're not mastering anything. And they get there and somebody's frothing at the mouth, 6'5", butt naked, say, yo, I'm going to kill you. The cop going right for his gun. Where a trained professional say, listen, calm down, be easy. We're going to get you some help. What's the problem? Whatever they say. I don't know what they say, but they know how to do it because they got massive.
You do de-escalation. We do restorative practices and de-escalation.
Well, you know what? I mean, in practice, of course, in Oregon, that may work. New York City is a different animal. Mm-hmm. And, you
can't say that, John, because then we're giving an excuse. I believe if every precinct, we got 76 precincts, 9 PSAs and 9 districts. If you put a 5-man team at every single precinct, you get a call for emotionally disturbed person without a weapon, just like your son, he's on medicine and he didn't take his medicine for 3 days, but he's acting a little irrational, but he's not, he ain't ready to kill nobody, but you call the cops. When you call the cops, he's off his meds. He might say something that trigger, and then it just goes left field, John.
But this is where the training comes into. People, we can say you go in the academy 6 months, whatever. This is the training of de-escalation training. This is the common. The police officers can also do that and be in a position, because if I send one of these counselors there to one of these incidents, is mentally disturbed, and that goes left, and if it goes left, where just like in Harlem, where the mother, there was one son, and the mental illness. Next thing you know, it goes left. He whips out a gun. Then what is that counselor going to do? There has to be a balance. There's no problem with, but this whole defund the police. I don't agree with that whole defund.
I'm not with defund neither. But we got to. You know what the budget is for NYPD? It's money to reallocate.
But we just gave Ukraine $14 billion It's an IOU, $14 billion. Give me $1 billion and I could put him in all those assembly districts that where the bulk of the crime is coming from and change the whole dynamics from education to job development.
To the three things that you're talking
about. This is
about.
why the mayor said, we are going to put, we know where the crime is coming from. It's just like cancer. If you know where it's coming from, put the resources there and eradicate it. So I'm beating around the bush.
So I'm gonna say between what both of you are saying to me sounds like the positive direction that we need to go. Right? It sounds to me, and I let me see if I understand this clearly. Right? That you're gonna have to put the money where the problems are happening. Okay, but Joanne, Dr. Brian is very big on this, and I always have to give her credit on that. Mental health to me,
we don't spend the money,
right? It's one of the greatest problems that is causing some of these deaths. And then we need to maybe I don't know, Corey, I don't know, John, I don't know, Joanne, but I think we need to start censoring the media. But the media itself, I know they need to sell, but they're sensationalizing, like the kid that got killed in Grand Rapids, right, with the police. Now, I don't get it. I don't know why. Stop running from the police. Because if you're running from the police, they're going after you. If something happens, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, but you can't blame the victim. Listen,
I'm not blaming the victim. I'm not blaming. No, that's not what I'm doing.
Hold on. No, you brought him up. So you can't bring him up without me saying something. He was unarmed.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
The cop deployed his taser at him twice. You only get 2 shots at the taser. The taser was done. After the 2 shots, there's no more shots to deploy out the taser. And the cop is saying, put the taser down. The only thing he could have did with the taser was beat the cop in the head with the taser. And guess what? The cop had the gun. The cop had mace. The cop had a nightstick. The cop had mace. So I'm not buying it. You got to look at these things. But the only issue I have with these issues is this guy went from a traffic stop to him being murdered. And it should not have happened.
I agree with that. And I 100% agree that because it should not have escalated to that, right? So, but my thing is like, again, it's like when people see, it's kind of like that crazy white girl in the Manhattan, right? Also another example where she blamed the 14-year-old black kid for stealing the cell phone. All of these things from the media is making your internal fears, they're making it come to reality that end up, and on the short end of the stick is generally a black man. Right?
But you can't censor the media because of the First Amendment. It is the First Amendment.
It's
just like the mayor of New York City keeps saying, and not just him, all these politicians keep saying, gun legislation. Listen, Second Amendment, right to bear arms. It ain't going nowhere. We got to stop. We've been saying the guns is coming to New York by planes, buses, trains, pregnant women. But you're not going to stop the pipeline. So you got to do something different. And this is why I told the mayor, I told his top 3 assistants, you want to do something different. You want to be on the forefront of gun legislation. Talk about bullet legislations. It's not constitutional. Make it so hard to get bullets that it don't matter how many guns you have. I don't care if you bought 10 guns. Every box of bullets is going to cost you $250, $300. We have to do something different. Guns, you're not going to win this argument with guns. It's not going to happen. John, you could jump in. You know you're not going to win. Because think about it. New York, LA, Chicago, Detroit.
I believe, put it this way. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe
everybody should have the right to bear arms.
You have the right to bear arms. But what we fail to do and fail to realize, man, is that we ain't giving them opportunity. We're not giving them hope.
Who's them?
Kids, I'm talking about the kids in the street, man. Just sitting down talking to these kids. They don't see outside the 4 corners of their community. They don't know better. Some do, some don't. You got to show them another level. And you have a lot of, what's interesting in the work that I do, man. I got a lot of cats that I work with that spent 41 years in jail, 33 years in jail, 25 years in jail, 20 years in jail, and they're out on the street right now. And one thing they always say, back in the day, there was a code of ethics
right
in the community that, you know what, if you saw Corey walking with his mother and I had beef, I'm not going to bother Corey while he's with his mother. If he's with the kids, I'm not going to bother him. But you catch me without him. There was a code in the community. What's up, Brother Willis? It's good seeing you. The point is, there is no respect no more. And these are the OGs that went to prison for 41 years and coming out. You know what? And the brother he spent 33 years in jail. And he said, man, he said, stop and frisk. He said, to bring that shit back, because too many kids on these streets have guns. And you know what? They have no sense of understanding that once you pull that trigger, it's over. It's over. And the impact, you not only impact yourself, but the lives of others. You know, if you go on Roosevelt Field, there's this hospital, and you see all the young brothers who are in wheelchairs due to gun violence. Man.
Right. You don't have to go that far. I want to move us along a little bit, because I know there are a lot of things that we want to talk about, especially with you. Just point out a couple of audience.
I just want to say hello to Willis. Willis, right? You said let's go back to the parents.
It goes back to that.
Also, what Miss Richardson was talking about. You know, the man can't do it all. He's just been in there maybe
4 months,
even 103 days, whatever it is. He's setting a tone. We're not seeing it right now, but judge me at the end result, and you will see that there will definitely be a turnaround in this city.
And that's only if people buy into, like, people have to buy. You know what I would? It's just like bringing a new anti-crime. That's just anti-crime. It's the same thing. It's no different than me. They just got uniforms on. So I would have loved for him to do a 5-borough tour. Like, the community needs the police need the community, and the community want the police. So when you just make, like, these are big decisions that you're just rolling out without community input, it don't work, because you got to understand, they stopped questioning Frisk. It was a big fracture with the Black and brown community. So if you're going to bring it back, let's say you bring the law professors from the city, you bring the law professors on a 5-borough tour, and they explain Terry versus Ohio.
But the community is asking for it.
Hold on one second.
Said, bring it back.
All right, wait. Hold on, Corey. Hold on.
Explain it to the people, because
I want to
just think stop and frisk is cops jumping out of cars, grabbing them, throwing. It's not that. It's an actual Supreme Court law. John, you know that, but people, the regular person, don't know that. So if you had, just imagine you had a room full of people, you got your lawyer there, the city council lawyer explaining this is the Terry stop 1968, when there's criminality afoot, cops could do, and people be like, huh? Really? Oh, this is a law?
So I want to go back to something that you said, Corey, and so we could move on, because you're doing some of these things that we're talking about. And
hey,
oh,
Jack,
I would wait.
You, Jack.
Hey, Jack.
This is me, Samson. Hey, Jack.
Right. A couple of things. So one, I just want to make it came to me on my text. So, you know, I like tonight's education conversation. My favorite. Thanks for sharing. So, you know, people are listening to what you're saying. You brought up something way back at the onset of our conversation about the 3-pronged approach. I think when you really look at it, to attack some of the violence, right? We have to find out where it's coming from, right? So John talks about the the assembly districts. We talk about, Joanne talks about mental health component, right? We talk about, from my level, the education component, right? What are you educating on? Who are you? Not just what you're educating, but it also has to do with who are you educating and why, right? So you have to educate the person who needs the education. I'm sorry, everybody needs the education, but the education they're going to get will be different. What the police officer get is different from the parent, from the community, from the victim, or the potential perp, right? So you talk about that. So when you look at the highlights of the police department addressing violence, you have to have all of these barometers in there, are, as my friend Deirdre would say, parameters, right? So all of these parameters that you're looking at. But you were once a cop. You became a cop, I believe, what 91 thereabouts, right? And then you were in the system for 21 and a half years. You left the system. You wrote a book, Once a Cop. Great book, by the way. If you haven't seen it, haven't read it, you have a copy of it, you can show it, right? It's great. It talks about somebody who came from the below average way of life, right? The below average. And I want to make sure I say that, because a lot of times
I don't know what you're talking about below
no,
average.
no. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. Sometimes people think like for you to make it someplace, you have to once a cop by Corey Pegues, right?
From the street law, two worlds.
And
Right.
correction, not everybody's over 50 here. Okay,
Right.
corrections.
All right. Oh yeah, I know that was. I was wondering how long you were gonna wait to say that.
I was like, what?
But no. Let me go back. What I'm saying
We
is,
know you 23, girl.
right? You came from humble beginnings, right? Most of the people who listen to this show come from humble beginnings, and then you're saying, how do I interact?
Corey ain't in the administration because Corey want to make money. That's why.
Right? Well, that make that right, right. So at the end
Administration got money, John. They could throw me a consulting contract. I'm with it.
They need to throw me one too. But going back now, you now say
More.
let me
With the help
educate
of their partners, JSIF continues its mission of investing for community development.
you, right? So going into all of that, using your book, Once a Cop, using your documentary, right? Using your documentary. Let's talk about what does that mean? You know, you're doing some work, My Brother's Keeper, all those different things, right? Cops and Robbers story. Okay. Talk to us about that. What you're addressing it from a different approach. You try to do it through youth basketball. Now you're doing it through sharing your story about moving from the street to becoming a person that you want other people to become, and still with the swag, with the walk, with the hat, with the jumper, with all of these different things, but you still have the swag. So let's talk about addressing these things through the challenge that you're using.
Yeah, you know, today I spoke at Valley Stream Central High School. John, I got to check just for transparency. Listen, no free speaking. We know that already, right?
Right.
So I spoke at Valley Stream High School, Central High School. And, you know, I love talking to these kids because, you know, growing up where we grew up and how we grew up, it's just different, man. I keep telling these kids, this changed the game right here. This has changed the game in America. Big Brother's watching the subway shooter. I already knew. I said, this guy ain't going to. I'm just mad I ain't see him because I would have definitely called and got that 50,000.
Me too, dog. Me too.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I was riding all over Brooklyn the other night. I swear to you, because I said, once I found out they got the U-Haul truck, I said, either he has somebody else or this dude is just walking. It's no way. And I was like, if he got somebody else, that somebody else got to be out their damn mind. They crazy because they going to jail.
Read it. Right.
So listen, it is what it is. But I'm constantly telling these kids to make sure that they do a 180. People always saying the 360. 360 means you went right back.
Exactly. I was telling them that. Stop saying 360.
I'm constantly telling these kids do a 3. Now, we all know on this panel, all of us that's over 50 and under 50, we all know.
Over 23. Over 23.
Over 23. We all know that kids make a mistake, and I'm for it. And they could make a mistake like carrying a gun. They could do, but the question is, are you going to learn from the mistake that you made? If you learn from the mistake that you made, you can make yourself into a successful person. You could get the house, 2 cars, and a white picket fence, but you got to make sure your company you choose is how you are perceived.
Or you can get the mansion and the rolls like Mr. Pegues.
Exactly. So I'm telling these kids, listen, your company is how you perceive. If you want to hang out with gangsters, people are going to perceive you as a gangster. You want to hang out with scholars, people are going to think you're the scholarly person. Or if you want to try to put one foot here and one foot there, you can't be a gangster and somebody nice at the same time.
Well, you know, but you know what? It's going to come to the point. You know, remember when they had the mafia problem, the mob problem?
Yes.
You know how they dealt with them?
Rico, baby.
Exactly. So it's going to come to the point that
When you tell people what the numbers is with Rico, they don't play baseball, Rico, right? They play football, right? It ain't 1 to 3, right?
No. You talking about 360 months.
They can't
480 months.
They can't even count those months. Yeah, you don't want a Rico case. And that's what's gonna happen. Because if you are involved, it's like the rapper Nas. I always tell a story when I was a cop, pulled Nas over. Nas was in a car with 3 other guys, his brother Jungle and 2 other guys in the back, and pulled them over. You know what the first thing he said? I got a loaded gun. It's in the glove box. It's mine. They ain't got nothing to do with it. If he doesn't say that, everybody in the car goes to jail. It's what I'm telling these people.
Who said that?
Wait. Remember the case
Who said that?
Nas, the rapper Nas.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yeah, he said, "Yo, I got a gun in the car. It's in the glove box. It's mine." And he got locked up for the criminal possession of the weapon. But if he doesn't say that, John, everybody goes.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I dealt with a case like that. Not me as a lawyer, but somebody came to community where the 2 kids were in the car, and they found the gun in the car. Both of them ran, and both of them got arrested.
Yeah,
the kid who owned the gun, because he kept saying it's his gun, and he went like this, and they both got arrested for the gun. And so I got the phone call like, "Hey, this kid is a high school kid. You gotta see what we can do to help him out," and blah blah blah. Make those phone calls. I want to go back to the book and the movie. Tell us a little bit more about the movie, though.
You making a docu-series, man, or what?
Yeah, what's going on with that? Tell us about.
Yeah, so I got a movie that came out.
Extra, man. That could be an extra.
The movie,
we both want to be an
movie came out March 14th in movie theaters around the country, and now you can see it on Apple TV, YouTube, Google, Redbox, Vudu. Actually, I just got a call from my agent. I got a call from my agent today that Hulu just picked it up, so they're gonna have an announcement in 2 weeks. And it's basically about the book, Once a Cop. It's basically about my life of a young misguided kid making a lot of mistakes, selling drugs, carrying guns.
John, I mean, Corey, when you say those things, you say them so fast, dog. And a lot of times it goes over and people don't understand. I want you to slow down. Tell us about the story, because I'm dead serious, because a lot of kids sometimes they don't see a way out, right? So they think that their life will end up like this, right? So walk us through the change, right? So let's talk about getting that girl pregnant in high school,
right?
Two
girls.
Yeah, 2 girls at the same time, right? Yeah. You're a little badass. Damn, right? But that transition, right? You transition from that drug dealing person,
yes,
to the military person. So we want people to know that life is not young black man, that is not futile. So I don't want you to make the statement and just go past it, right? Because it's important. That's why we're doing the show, right? It's a village, right? Where you're coming from and where you could go. So I want you to start over. Tell us about the hood rat that became you. You get what I'm saying? And now it's the movie, it's the documentary, it's the book.
Right. Yeah, so I grew up in a family of 5 sisters and myself. And, we grew up on welfare. We had funny money called food stamps. The $10 bill was green, the $5 bill was purple, and the $1 was brown. And, sometimes we didn't have no lights. Sometimes we didn't have no gas. Sometimes we didn't even have no running water. And at the age of 13, I gravitated to the streets. I started selling marijuana, then loose cocaine, then mescaline tabs. They probably don't even do that stuff no more. And then crack cocaine hit at the end of 84, middle of 84, and I started selling crack. Yeah. And I started working for one of the most violent drug conglomerates on the East Coast called the Supreme Team, where they do movies, and Jay-Z talk about it, 50 Cent. And one day, 2 members from the Supreme Team grabbed me, gave me a gun, told me they was going to take me somewhere. They're going to point somebody out to them, and I was going to have to kill them. And so at that point, I was like, damn, if I don't kill this guy, guess who they're going to kill? They're going to kill me. And so we went to the spot. I don't want to tell the end of the story because people got to buy the book. But at that time, I was 18 years old. I had 2 kids in high school in 12th grade. So my son is born December 12th. My daughter is born January 14th. And my mother died June 30th. And it was like, what kind of hero am I going to be for these kids? I'm going to be in jail 5 years, come on, they throw a barbecue for me and tell me I did it, or I was going to live the American dream. So in the cover of the night at 4 o'clock in the morning, October 18th, 1987, I left and went to the military. I did 3 years and 8 months. And after I came out 6 months later, I went into the NYPD. And I rose to the top of the NYPD fairly quickly. But along the way, I got my bachelor's, I got my master's. I went to Columbia University. I've been a professor at 2 different colleges. And basically, that's my story. And it's been over 33 years since I committed a crime. That's a clap moment right there. Yeah. And I met some nice people like my good friend, John Sampson. Listen, let me tell you about John. John Sampson inducted me into the New York State Senate Veterans Hall of Fame. You can Google it. I'm in the Veterans Hall of Fame because of my good friend John Sampson. Rudy Daly was a good friend of mine when I was a commander in the 6-7 precinct. So this is all family. I'm loving it. And this young lady, I don't know if I had any relationship with her. Well, we didn't have no relationship. I gotta watch my words. I gotta watch my words, John. You know what I'm saying? Like if we cross paths, I don't know. But if you're with them, then I know you are good spirit and heart.
And we're gonna leave it right there because we got a lot of other stuff to talk about. We can't talk about.
All right, we can't talk. So what was it like when they approached you and say, "Hey, when you got the call that says that we want to make your life story into a documentary"? How did first of all walk us through that feeling? Walk us through that conversation.
Well, what happened was, when I retired, I did, I wanted to write a book because I knew like it was different. My story was different than other police officers. So I went on this Combat Jack podcast, which was the #1 hip hop podcast in America. And I told my story. And then the NYPD PBA, Pat Lynch racist ass put me on the front page of the newspaper. They called me a thug cop. But what was happening, Rudy, they didn't understand when they put me on the front page of the newspaper, the media went crazy on my story, and the top 10 publishers in the world contacted my book agent, Random House, Doubleday, Simon & Schuster, Grant Street, Judith Regan. They all was bidding on my story, and we had an auction on a Friday from 12 to 2, and Simon & Schuster came out with the bid, and I went with them. And the day my book came out, I went on the Daily Show with Trevor Noah. I went on the Daily Show with Trevor Noah. It was a big launch, and I didn't even know how big he was. I knew Jon Stewart was big, but I ain't. Trevor Noah just came from Africa. Nobody really know who he was. I went on his show, and it just went viral. And I had all these Hollywood producers calling me, and I ended up signing a deal with these 2 Romanian women from Transylvania in Europe. And I signed a deal with them because they was a connection. It felt really good. I actually turned down the deal with Will Smith, and I signed with them. And we shot a documentary for a couple of years, and it just came out March 14th, and everything's been good. And I've been in negotiations for a major television deal right now with a big Hollywood star that we all know. I can't really talk about it, but we're in some heavy negotiations because my story is so unique.
Wait, pause. John and I are interested in being extras in right. Andre said him too. So, but
why y'all gotta be extras? I'm gonna be the executive producer. Y'all gotta get a producer line, a consulting job.
We got my company, Daily Enterprises. They're out there. We're good to go with that. This is awesome, right? From street kid to now movie producer, right? And all of that, is happening because of your passion for the community. When you were a cop, you focused on community and youth involvement. You brought your basketball back, your street ball back. Oh wait,
even the difference with Corey is that when Corey was the commanding officer 6-7, Corey was willing to sit down with every.
We can't hear you, John. You need to move the mic closer.
Okay, mic is close enough.
Yeah.
Well, Corey he had the ability to sit down with everybody. He didn't, whether you were engaged in criminal activity or not, he would sit with you and listen. He didn't come with any preconceived notions of the individuals. He was always willing to listen. He gave you an opportunity to speak your piece. And that's all the people in the community want, and if it was reasonable, he would work with you. And he would tell you that, hey, if it's going to be X, it's going to be X. He was never, he wouldn't wouldn't bullcrap you. And his whole point was to treat everybody like a human being. Yeah. And that's why he was successful over in the 6-7 precinct.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. And it was people like you, like the politicians like you, that would call me I could call you at 2 a.m, you know, Yvette, and she's in DC, and I would call like whoever. Jamani Williams is a pain in my ass, but that's my man. He really cared about the community and the people, you know, Stewart, Eugene, like, you know, I'll never forget those relationships. But the community relationship with the police, I want to believe, when I was there for 3.5 years, it was better than it has always been.
You know, I think I was talking to a young person many years ago, and she automatically blurted out, "Oh, I don't like police." Right? That was her reaction. One of my students, and I said, "But how are you going to say that if we were doing something on Avenue D? I think it was a national night out, and we're on Avenue D. I think you were still a commander at the time when we had one of those things." But then once I had her talking to Thibault, right? I had her talking to Thibault, the reaction changed. And then you brought that community involvement, police and community, like when you did the 6-7 piece at the Padgett Park. We have about 4 or 5 minutes left, right? Talk about why is it so important to have, even when the crime that's increasing right now, why is it important to have community police, community relationship? Because that causes some of the problems as well. Like people can't identify with police.
It's so important because 85% of crimes are solved by the community, not the police. But I don't want to bust the bubble of the police, but it's not like policing isn't 40 minutes with 20-minute commercials. It's not TV. It's not TV. So I want people to understand that if you don't have relationship with people, like when I was a CEO of PSA2, I had all of the projects in East New York, Brownsville, and Crown Heights. I would have, and y'all know Danny Goodine. Danny Goodine would bring me guns. Danny would bring me guns from shootings, and the detectives thought that I was on the take. But I developed this relationship where there was trust, that he trusted me. He didn't want to bring the gun to nobody else. He would call me and say, "I got the gun for the shooting." And I was like, "All right, bring it to me, brown paper bag." And I would give it to detectives, and they looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, "You hanging with the criminals?" No, I built a relationship with the community that they trust me. It's your job to crack the case, but here's the gun. The gun is off the street. But if I didn't have those relationships, I would never be able to do that. Policing is the biggest tool that a police got is his mouth. If you don't know how to talk to people, you're not going to be a good cop because you can't shoot your way out of everything. You got to be able to talk to people.
Say that again.
You know, I'm going to read you this little story right here. Somebody who's listened to the show sent me this, and this is so sad, right? So I'm going to read it to you. My cousin in California got sentenced to life in prison. He was a passenger in a car with another guy who had murdered someone which he did not know about. The cops had pulled over the car, not sure for what, and found a gun underneath the passenger seat. The gun was the murder weapon. Now, my cousin was not aware that the guy had a gun in the car or that he had killed someone. The driver, who was the murderer, got 8 years. My cousin got life because he already had 2 misdemeanors on his records. You know, California goes 3 strikes.
3 strike rule. Yeah.
You know, and you know, you talked about having one. Yeah, I got you. Having 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You can't be a gangster and a geek, right? You have to be one or the other. So I'm not going to say.
I'm going to use that. I like that. I'm going to use that.
Right. I can't speak to the person, right? I can't speak to the person what happens, but sometimes I try. Sometimes you really don't know, right? That's why one of the things for me, I don't like driving other people's cars. I don't. If I'm going someplace, I'm gonna come pick you up, right? I don't want, because I hear about that a lot. And so give us like a couple of warning signs, and give us and tell us how we can get your book and everything. So give us a couple warning signs.
You could get the book on Amazon, and I told you how you could watch the movie. You get the book on Amazon, Target, Walmart, all the stores.
Send me a damn copy, man.
Autograph.
I'm gonna send y'all. Send me the address. I'm gonna send y'all a couple of copies. I'm telling you, I got cases over here. So, couple of tips. I want to leave the people.
Colleen Garden Gordon said she wanted an autograph copy. I just remembered.
All right. So listen, this is for your kids. So the cops want to see your palms, never your knuckles. When they ask you to put your hands up, they want to see this, never this, because you could turn around. You could turn your hand around. You got your hands like this. You turn around, boom, you got a 22 caliber gun. All right. So tell your kids they want to see your palms, not your knuckles. Make sure that you keep your mouth shut when you having engagements with the police, please, because you live to see another day. I do police citizens encounters in the street, in the car, in your home. And my running theme is live to see another day, because we got lawyers like John that we could call to help you at the end. But we can't call John if you don't make it to the end. All right. So keep your mouth shut, no matter how hard it is. I know it hurts. It's embarrassing. Keep your mouth shut. And if it's more than 2 people, I need one person to be on the sideline with this thing, videotaping. Everybody don't need to go to jail. One person step away, videotape the encounter. And the video is going to be good for the cop and the person who possibly gets arrested, no matter how it goes down. We got to get these videos. The more video, the better. We thought video was going to be the end all be all, body cameras, right? But we see cops killing people with body cameras every day and they're getting exonerated. So body cameras wasn't the end all be all, Rudy. We got to do something. As long as you have a set of eyes, all right? But I appreciate
Carlene's message. Carlene, how can
your family? I appreciate all of y'all.
Corey, how does somebody get an autograph copy though?
Well, they could just contact me on my website, CoreyPegues.com, CoreyPegues, and just leave me a message and we'll work it out from there. I have my offices. My manager work it out. It's all good.
There you go. Once a cop. Let me see that copy one more time.
Yeah.
There you go. Once a cop. It's on all major network that you can get it on. Amazon, Target. I read it. Like I was telling people, to get me to. I love to read, but sometimes I don't finish a book, and to know that I finished a book and know what's going on, you know that there's some good stuff. So make sure you go to your bookstore, get a book, prove John wrong that we read. Right? Once a cop,
send me the damn book, man.
Yeah, and
I got you.
Right, so
John, we got to do lunch. I'm bringing it to you. We need to sit down.
Wait, I wasn't invited to lunch, dog.
All three of us, and Joanne.
I don't even want.
And young Joanne. I'm treating for lunch. I'm treating.
That's all right. We're off next week. We're all off next week.
And Cockfield.
I'll be in Florida, so you will be there.
All right, so there you go. So now Joanne just ruled herself out.
It's gonna be me, John, Rudy, and Al. Al, since John brought up Al's gonna pick up the bill because he got a driver.
He got a bigger wallet. All right, Corey, it's a blessing. Thank you so much. All right, for joining.
Y'all.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Congratulations on everything.
All right.
God bless.
Serious next week lunch.
Yeah. I'll be there. Let's make it Sunday. I'll be there Sunday.
All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I know Lion Mac, Emerson Campbell. Good afternoon. I know that we're excited. I hope you got a chance to meet our previous guest, Corey.
I was listening in. It was very entertaining.
Yes.
Yes.
Campbell, how are you, sir?
How are you doing?
Well.
How are you doing?
Doing well.
You came highly recommended, man. You came highly recommended.
Well, I'm glad to know that.
So tell us tell us a little bit about yourself. And by the way, I'm sorry. Single Parent University. Let me give 1 second. So just to let you know that the Village Talk Show, radio talk show, is brought to you by the Single Parent University, where if you're a single parent, you need help with some ways to help out your young one. Do know there's a Single Parent University at you can reach out to them at 646-779-6767, and then you could do text in the SPU, Single Parent University, SPU, to 71441. Again, call 646-779-6767 or text 71441. You learn about managing your money, personal development, mindful parenting. You get help with childcare, transportation, social club network. So please do reach out. Don't say that you're not getting help if you're having some difficulty, because we don't want any of our young people, as was from the previous guest, getting out there and being seen with violence. We also brought you, well, we're not going to do it one yet, right? So let's do that a little later. All right. So Lions Mac, talk to us about that. Just tell us who you are and start from there.
Okay. Well, I'm Lion Mac Emerson Campbell. I'm going to call myself a young man from Montego Bay, Jamaica.
That's right.
Yes, I came here 40 years ago, and when I came here, I was a member of the Leo Club. Now, let me give you a little bit of idea what that is. The Leo Club is the youth arm of the Lions Club International. The word Leo stands for leadership, experience, and opportunity. So I got the opportunity to become a part of the organization just out of high school. And as you can see, I'm still serving voluntarily till this day. It's a long, long time. What we do is the Lions Club International is a organization that's over 104 years old. And it started in 1917 in Chicago, Illinois, by a businessman called Melvin Jones. And believe me, it was one of the best things that ever happened to a lot of young men like myself growing up in Montego Bay, Jamaica back in the 70s when, you get out of school, nothing to do, you get in trouble. It took me away from trouble and taught me how to help others, be civic-minded. Fortunately for me, I migrated, came here in about, I think it's 83, 85, somewhere around there. And I continue to do the same things taught to me by my mother and the people who serve me. I have the opportunity now, through my club, Brooklyn Metropolis Lions Club, to run for second vice district governor. That means in 3 years, if elected, I'll run a district of 2,000 plus members, 77 clubs, in one of the most awesome districts in the state of New York. In 2 seconds, I'm going to break it down for you. Lions Club International has a headquarters. You have multiple districts. We are in Constitutional Area 1. New York State and Bermuda has sub-districts, and we are District 20K1. We serve Brooklyn and Queens. Key to this is everything we do is voluntary. Nobody gets paid. We pay to volunteer. Mm-hmm. We pay to volunteer. But one thing we do, we party, we travel, see the world, but we help people. We have global causes given to us by the international body. Environment, hunger, cancer, diabetes. So those are some of the stuff we work. I don't know if you remember when Haiti got hit by that massive earthquake.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Those blue tarps you saw in Haiti that says with that blue L in the middle. Every one of those tents were put up by Lions Club International Foundation. The foundation is the fundraising arm of the organization. Lions Club International can't raise money, but the foundation does raise money. And you ask yourself, how does the Lions Club do all of this? Because us as members, we pay a yearly dues. That's what runs the organization. Any company in the world that gives us $1, every cent of that dollar goes back into the community. Can't even buy a piece of paper to write a note on. That's the quality of an organization that has 1.45 million members worldwide. That's not an easy feat. To have anywhere you go in the world, someone can recognize you by you wearing a pin on your shirt, as simple as the one I have here on my shirt. It says Lions Club International. You're in a big family, and that's what we do as an organization. So I'm trying to do the best I can to get folks to understand what we do and come to be a part of it. It is a simple motto. We serve.
That's right. We serve.
We serve.
I want to, one of the, Deirdre wrote that she used to be a Leo when she was in Jamaica. So I guess there's a youth organization for that. And then she spoke about, she's asking, they don't have Leos anymore. So I'm assuming that's a question, not a statement.
No. That's not, I can correct that for Deirdre. Yes, Deirdre, there is still the Leo arm. There's two parts to the Leo arm. You have an alpha and you have an omega. Alpha is years 12, kids 12 years old to 18. And the omegas go from 18 in some, depending on where your constitutional area is, they can go up to 35. So the Leo part of the organization is still there.
And in New York City, how many local chapters do you have?
Okay. In New York, in New York is broken down in different areas. And the way it's done is you have a state, the state which is above everyone. So the state breaks up the whole, everything into one. You have N1, N2, and they spell out the word New York. But so that's why we are 20K1. In 20K1, which comprises Brooklyn and Queens, there are 77 clubs, 2,000 members. So we are all over the place. We raise a ton load of money. We go out and raise a ton load of money for breast cancer. Every year we do that. You know, my club, in collaboration with a few other clubs, sent the largest shipment of anything that ever left this district to Haiti when they had the earthquake. A container, not a small container, a huge container of everything that was needed. So those are the things we do with the fire department and Sisters of, I don't want to get it wrong, it's from the corrections department in collaboration with everyone. So we work with a lot of people and do things in our communities. And that's what we want to do. Right now, let me give you a little bit of history about the organization. 104 years old. At 101 year old was the first time a woman ever became president of the organization.
Wow. Big,
Let's
big,
better that. Brooklyn,
big.
Bedford, Stuyvesant Lions Club.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, Bedford, Stuyvesant Lions Club now has the international president who is from Brooklyn, Douglas X. Alexander, a former banker on Fulton Street here in Brooklyn. He is the first African-American president of the organization.
Real.
The first African-American president of a 105-year-old organization.
So go back to the first thing when you said about the first female. How long is the duration of presidency?
Tenure. What's the tenure?
What's the tenure?
1 year.
And then what?
And then you become the LCIF chairperson. But once you become a now they go back to third vice president. So it used to be from second vice, you serve as second vice president, first vice president, then president. So you basically have a 4-year term at the head of the organization somewhere.
Right, got you.
So that's how it breaks down. But the president serves for 1 year.
All right, and when are you going to be president?
Well, as soon as I get elected to second vice district governor, that's the way it's got to start. But you know what it is? For me, it's not even about the office. What it is about, I look around my community, and what do I see in my community? Every time I turn the television on, I get angry. And people say, why do you get angry? Because you know what? Us brothers and sisters, and I say us brothers and sisters in our communities have to start serving and understand why we are serving. And that's what it is, because if you look at these kids today, they have no idea what it is to be civic minded. And so we have to teach them through these organizations. We have a program in the organization called Lion Quest. We had a problem put it in the New York public school system because they couldn't understand why we needed it. But when they found out what it was, some school accepted it. And it was something to get our kids involved. I was given the help of other lions when I grew up.
That's true.
I was given the help of other lions coming up in Jamaica. That's why I have such a passion for this organization, because I knew what it taught me.
Yes.
And what it taught me was I have to go out and teach others to do the same in the right and proper way. It's called leadership.
Each one teach one. Yes.
Each one, exactly. So we have to be good leaders, good stewards, and be able to get people involved. And we have to let people know that we are not doing it because we are getting something from it that benefits us much more than the smile and the appreciation of a person who gets a turkey in a basket at Thanksgiving and say, thank you very much. I never knew my family could have had a turkey for Thanksgiving, but that's what we do. I worked for Nissan for the last 15 years. Every year, the manager gives me at least 50 turkeys so that my club can hand it out to our communities. One of the greatest things that my club does is we do a Thanksgiving feeding for veterans and homeless folks right here on Washington Avenue in Brooklyn. 500, and I'm talking about sit-down meals, not a box meal where they come in and they get a 3-course meal. They walk away feeling dignified that people who don't even know them treat them well. And that's because of the minds and the feelings and the comfort that we have as servants.
But you know what, Lion Campbell, I know how important that is, myself, once a member of Lions, always a member of Narcy Lions, and the things that the things that we have done and established and continue to do is truly welcoming to the community.
Yes, it is.
To the community. And I would recommend, villagers, definitely that you take part in this very noble organization that has done a lot for a lot of people. Although I didn't get no turkey, which I'm disappointed, or ever got invited to have a sit-down meal. But
we didn't get invited to. Do you know do you know Donna Badai?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, she's asked me to sit on panels with her to have conversation, but I never got invited to any of the festivities. I'm just saying.
Okay, so I tell you what, I'm extending an invitation to you to the governor's testimonial in June.
All right, what's the date? What's the date?
I think it's June.
I want party.
Don't say June 25th.
No, it's not June 25th. Before I get off, I'll tell you, but I think it's about June 6th or the second Saturday of June it is. I don't have the date right with me, but yeah, it's a very beautiful testimony. This is at the end of the governor's term, where we sit down and we enjoy each other's company, camaraderie, enjoy the food, and
June 11th.
June 11th. There we go. And that's exactly when.
How did you know that, Joanne?
Because I'm born in June.
You're born in June. So it's John, but John didn't know that.
Yeah, but like Brother Sampson's saying, it's what we do, man. We get a smile from someone who don't have a coat in the winter time. Now, I was just told by my beautiful wife that it's June 12th, this Sunday.
Somebody's wrong.
No, that was my fault. I said Saturday.
Saturday.
It's what we just did for this term in my club alone. Over 3,000 man-hours of service. That served over 4,500 people in many different ways, from a pair of socks to a winter coat to a meal, kids to go to school, books, computers for kids anywhere they want it. And that's what we do as Lions.
Where are you guys stationed at? Where's your headquarters, your location at? Because you mentioned Washington Avenue, but where is your headquarters?
We formally met at Kingsbrook Jewish Hospital on Winthrop Avenue. So each club meets in different places. Mm-hmm. But because of COVID, everyone was in Zoom. So we are just kind of breaking back out to going into our meeting places now. But every club meets in a different place. And that's one of the reasons why programs like these gives a person like me the opportunity to tell people how to find us and to become a part of what we do. All one has to do is log on to lionsclubinternational.org. And I'll say it again, lionsclubinternational.org, and they will find all the information there. You will get to see what the organization does, what the organization does with money it raises, because one thing we do is full disclosure. You will see an audit of everything we do there. We got millions of dollars from Bill Gates to help eradicate measles in Africa. We spent every penny. Every penny. Why? Because that's what it was given for.
So I want to ask you a question, and I think Joanne also had a question, but before Joanne gets to a question, I just want to ask. Tell me about what has been. You just spoke about one accomplishment, which is the $1 million for the measles. Tell us one of your challenges as a Lion, and how has that prepared you for your candidacy to lead?
One of the challenges as a Lion is to get people to understand what we do. Mm-hmm. Because most of the times people think that if there's no benefit financially there for you, no benefit, you're not getting to the mountaintop, you have to be getting something. So it's kind of hard for people to understand that, no, this is a passionate cause for people like myself. And once you come around to it and understand why we do what we do, it's simple. You're driving in your car sometimes and you come to the stoplight and the guy at the stoplight tells you he wants some money for food. You have a question for yourself. Does he really need money for food, or what is he going to do with the money? One of the things I usually do is sometimes I'll buy a box of Kentucky Fried Chicken and keep it on my car seat because I know where I'm going to see someone. When they ask for money, I hand it to them. Now, if you want food, I just gave you food. Mm-hmm. So those are the things that we have to get people to understand, is that what we do it because we're passionate about it, and we do it because we are trying to help. We have a beautiful mental health program going on right now in the district where we have mental health Mondays in different clubs to help people to call in, talk about it. We got into the communities and we do the same things. And those are the things that we have. So the challenge is to get people to understand that when we come and ask you for your help, it's because there's someone else who needs the help.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Love that. What is the age?
I need help, Lion. I need help.
Go ahead, Doctor. Go ahead.
I know that you mentioned that each one teach one. That's the policy and everything in regards to that. But what is the age group of the people that actually join the Lions Club? Are you aiming for older folks, or are you aiming for?
Hey! Watch it, young snapper. Watch it there, young snapper.
Listen, the age group, it varies. And I tell you what, I am of the opinion right now that, look at me, I'm a guy, I can say it, I'm not afraid to say it, I'll be 63 years old. I've been a part of this organization since I was 18 years old. Okay? So it tells you that it had to be something good why I'm still around. Mm-hmm. You know, and I love it the same way today as I did when I first became a part of it. Mm-hmm. So the age group basically is not what the problem is. Mm-hmm. What it is how passionate are you about what needs to be done? So just to clarify, if you're 18 years or older, you can be a Lion. Mm-hmm. From 12 to 18, you are a Leo.
Gotcha.
So that's
Leo here in the United States, or
anywhere in the world. Okay. You have to be 12-year-olds to be a Leo. And
it's 15-year-old, 15, 16-year-old.
No. That's what I'm saying. From 12 to 18, you're a Leo.
Okay.
So you start at 12 up to 18. You're an Alpha Leo. Then when you get to 18, we try to find what's called the Omega Club for you, because now you're 18, you're considered an adult. So they don't really want you to be with what they call minors anymore. They want you not to be, the adult group. So that's what it is right there.
Lion Campbell, you just gave me a nice phrase. When somebody says, ask about age, I'm going to say, but my passion.
We're going to beat up John. Don't worry about that.
Right? Eradicates my age.
Exactly.
It makes it a non-fact.
I believe that if your arms can move, your legs can move, and your mind is functional, you're able to serve.
Okay. So in regards to serving, with crime at its highest point right now, what are some ways that the Lion Club can get involved, and the Lionettes and all the wonderful Leos can get involved in regards to helping and volunteering? What can they do and how are they involved?
Here's how we involve. I live in I think it's a 73rd precinct in where I live at, in that area there. And what we do is we work closely with them. We get into whatever programs they have. We go out in the communities. We wear our yellow vests. We talk to people the same way and help them to administer the programs that they have in the communities and try to bring the kids together. We have fun days for the kids. We talk to them. We Brownsville Community Center on Linden Boulevard.
RC.
Yes, we go down there and we participate in whatever they do. In Canarsie, we do the same thing. So we have to get involved. We try to do the literacy programs with the kids in the community and show them that, come into the park and help us clean it up rather than making a mess in the park.
I have a question for you, but before I ask it, we take a moment for a commercial break. Give me 2 seconds. So know that the Village Show, the Village Radio Talk Show, in conjunction with Stop Hiding Inc. presents an Encourage, Educate, and Empower, a community forum on preventing child sexual abuse. Stop Hiding, April 23rd. That's next week, Saturday, April 23rd, from 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Hope City Church, 369 New Lots Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11207. Again, it's going to be live at Shepherd Inc. It's also going to be live on our Facebook page, on the Village Show 30, on the Village Radio Show, also on our YouTube channel, streaming live. So next week, Saturday, please join Stop Hiding in conjunction with the Village Talk Show to hear about sexual abuse for young people, preventing sexual abuse for young people. And so, looking forward to seeing you there next week, Saturday, at the Hope City Church, 369 New Lots Avenue. 369 New Lots Avenue. So, the question I want to go, I think Joanne's question was a little bit reversed. You answered it in a way to say what the Lions are doing into the community, to expose the community. I think Joanne's question is more about the reversed, right? So how do you get young people? Because one of the issues that we're talking about is violence and what the violence is that's happened in the community. And we're talking about ways to get people, especially the violent, the majority of the crime, not all crime, because the person in the subway was 62 years old, but the majority of the crime is happening between the same age that you become an Omega Lion, right? 18 to 35. That's the bulk of the violent crimes. And we know that more than 60% of all murders, right, in the United States are Black folks. And the Lion is, especially when talking about Caribbean, New York, it's primarily Black folks. So how do we flip the script and make people more involved? What is the outreach? What is the catch? What are you guys doing to promote that component, get the Omega piece more uplifted? And yes, and thank you, Carla, and congratulations on the book. Hopefully I'll see you on Tuesday.
Well, one of the things that we as Lions do is like I said to Joanne's question, was there's not so much we can as a club go out in the community and do. What we do is we collaborate with the precincts. That's how we have to work. And we try to get into schools where we can start talking to these kids and explain to them our stories. Because not all of us come from the soft side of the story. Some of us come from the side of the story where you see things that you never thought you would have seen.
Amen.
And
experience.
And experience.
Yes.
So what we have to do is explain that to them. But we also have to be gentle in the way we explain it to them by letting them know, here is what we did or I did. And here's what you can do. And sometimes we have to express to these youngsters that, you know what? You have to ask questions. Ask for help. Don't be afraid. There is nothing stupid about what you're going to say, and be the bigger man. turn the other cheek, like my grandmother used to say, and say, you know what? Can I go ask someone how to take care of this? So we have to basically go out in the communities, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be more visible in what we do in regard to, how the things that are happening in the community. We try to go into the shelters, the ones we were allowed to go into and talk to people and get them to, tell us what we can do to give them help. Because my opinion is, if you can reach one, you have done something.
That's a very, very good point. You came to us through James. You know James, all right, and he was very excited when I said to him, I want to talk to the Lions, and I hear so much great things about the Lions' prowess, like what it is that you've done. Speaking to people like the likes of Johnny Prescott, Donna Bodai. Michael, James, I call him Mike.
Yeah.
Hearing what it is and seeing some of the work. So we really do appreciate that. And make sure that our invitation, the Village Show 30, I keep saying the Village Show 30 because that's the email address, but the Village Radio Talk Show is on that invite list to the Governor's Ball on June 12th. So we're looking very much forward to seeing you. If somebody wants to get involved with the Lions, where can they go? Tell us again so we can put it up there.
It's the Lions Club International.org. That's it. It's that simple. Lions Club International.org. There you go. And once you type that in, it will give you the opportunity to here's a key one, to donate to a service cause somewhere. And it will show you how to become a member. And most importantly, it will show you every and anything that we have done worldwide.
Amen.
And also help to create a chapter, right? It also shows
exactly.
Right.
And it will help you and give you the ideas as to how to go out and get a club of your own and, help people in the community. And people can reach out to clubs that are near and close to them so we can do things for them. And then this is one other thing. Don't be afraid to reach out to a Lions Club if there is someone that needs help in your family. Because if we are unable to do it right away, we're going to find a way to get it done. I'm going to give you a simple example. One of the first major international projects we did as a club, there was a young man in Guyana. He was about maybe 8 or 10 years old. Needed an operation that couldn't be afforded in Guyana. An operation that would cost $4,500 US, but it was too much for his family. Wow. What did we do? We made sure it happened. We raised the cash, had a Lion fly to Guyana, and made sure it was presented to the hospital for the young man to have the surgery in a successful way. So those are the things we do. We are servants without borders.
I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. We are servants without borders, and we make sure that if we are able to, it will be done.
Lion Campbell, on that note, that's such a positive, powerful note, what you just said. And I just want to just thank you for your commitment, your dedication, but most of all, your vision. You saw that at a young age what this opportunity meant, not only to you, but what it meant to others. And to continue along that path at a very young age, till a ripe age of a sexy age of 63. I want to commend you.
Thank you.
I hope to be like you when I grow up,
Hey, listen, I can sit here, man, and tell you, we went to Antigua when the last hurricane tore up Antigua, and we packed about, I think it was like 80 barrels, shipped them, went to Antigua and helped them do the distributions.
I want to go to Antigua.
And that's that's what it's all about, man. So villagers, you're here. Let's serve. Let's join the Lions Club and let's do what we need to do. So once again, Lion Campbell, I want to thank you.
I thank you guys for having me, and I look forward to seeing you at the ball.
I'm just looking forward to going to another country.
I will make sure that James reach out to you guys so we can get you in the ball so you see what we do after the work is done.
All right.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
God, Joanne, thank you very much.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Rick and John, thanks a lot.
Uh-huh. So this is great. I'm glad the two of them were able to tie in, because one, we talk about like the violence that's happening, what we can do, and then two, how do you bring the community and become more civic minded. So a couple of things that are happening before we go. I forgot, our new time is from 7 to 9. It's going to be from 7 to 9, not 9:15 anymore. So we might be coming on a little bit earlier. We'll let you know that. So a couple of big things that hit the headline. Just got it. Joanne's, Dr. Brian's favorite topic, New Jersey, is playing with the idea to have recreational marijuana. Just so, what is it? Puff puff.
They didn't play with it. They have 7 that they approve. Are you kidding?
They're
They have
playing.
that
Wait,
they
wait.
approve.
So, John, we could go by Joanne's window and go puff puff pass.
Puff, puff. Skip Dr. Brian.
let her smell it, right? Let her smell it
No,
and
I don't
move
wanna
on.
see nothing. I don't want to.
So a couple of, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that we wanted you, what's bothering all of us here at the village is the violence, the uptake, whether it's media perpetrated, John, or real.
It's real,
right? No, some of it is media perpetrated. Let's be real about that too, right? And the reason why I'm saying is media perpetrated is like one of the things that Corey spoke about. The numbers are not really there. It's not like when we were growing up, where you had 2,500, 900. Now the numbers are lower. However, it is, if you are a victim of one of these issues, it's not a fake number. It's a real number. Those, 10 people that were shot, the numbers varied. I don't remember what the last number was. And the
little girl that they buried today from leaving school last week, Friday.
Right.
People,
The,
so
the
those
16-year-old, the machete wielding person, Astoria, any of those different things. If you are a victim of violence, that 61-year-old woman, the car that got hijacked, right? Out there, the numbers might not be great. Maybe it is sensationalized by the media, but if you're the victim, that number is 100%.
There's no more respect in the streets, man.
No,
there's
but
no more.
Is it really? I think
no more.
No, you're right. You're right.
I don't know if. What do you mean by respect?
You seniors off limits. Don't touch them.
Mike has to be closer.
Seniors near schools. Seniors off limits. Near schools off limits. Children
boundaries. Okay, that's what you're
off
saying.
Limits.
Yeah.
There are no boundaries because that's the lack of respect that they have. And as a result, if you want to be an animal, I'm going to hunt you down and treat you like an animal.
Yeah, I want to add one thing in there. To me, I'm sick and tired of the term street justice.
There's
I don't like the term.
Who told you about that?
No, because what happens is a lot of times, and you have like gang members warring with other gang members, and innocent people get caught up in the middle. Why? Because it's street justice. You go after me, I'm gonna go after someone. I don't care who you with. Because that 12-year-old kid that I now have to hear about, because it's from our local district right here. That kid was not involved in anything.
Eating. They pulled her aside
right.
to eat.
Right. You understand? And so it's to me
senseless.
Right. It's beyond senseless. And then I saw somebody where some young lady was getting raped by somebody, and the guy was in the car and he's at the door minding his business. Right. He came out and the woman is running on the street while the naked guy, obviously mentally disturbed. There's no such thing. Right. You really have to, if you want violence to stop, you have to take a stand. And you have to say, there's no such thing. You do something wrong, I'm gonna call the cop. I'm gonna be a rat, John. I'm gonna be a rat. I'm gonna call the cop.
Well, we thank everybody for listening. We thank everyone for joining.
Wait, before you finish up, we didn't talk about Brian Benjamin. You want to do that real fast?
We want to thank everybody for listening. Thank everyone for joining us this evening. Think positive, and wishing you a safe holiday season, a great Good Friday, a great Easter. Be safe out there. protect yourself. And no, we're not talking about Brian Benjamin. We're moving forward. We're moving forward.
It's not a matter of moving forward. We do have topics, right? That
We can
the,
deal with that topic next time.
well,
Yes.
it might be too late though. Well, just for everybody out there, in case you haven't heard by now, Brian Benjamin, who is the lieutenant governor, who was the lieutenant governor, that means he's second in command. So just the brief explanation is that Andrew Cuomo resigned as governor. So Kathy Hochul, who was the lieutenant governor, became the governor. That means, so then Brian Benjamin was appointed to the post by the then, at the point when she became governor, she appointed. So what we're trying to say that he was the second in command of New York State, and he was arrested. He turned himself in on Tuesday, and then he resigned, I believe, on the same day as lieutenant governor, the second most powerful person in New York State. And unfortunately, and I also hate the fact that he's also of Caribbean descent. So that also,
on that note, we wish him and his family
good luck and hope everything is well with him and his family. Happy Easter.
Happy
And please
Resurrection
enjoy.
Sunday.
Happy Resurrection Sunday. God bless and have a great day. Wait. I'm sorry. Kathy. I'm sorry, Carla. Your book signing is coming out this week.
Yes. This week coming up, Carla.
This week coming up.
Awesome book. I have my copy. Awesome book.
I haven't gotten the book yet, so you need to send it to me so I can read
ordered it on Amazon. Go to Amazon and order it.
Right, send it to me so we'll bring you on next week. If we have space, if not the following week, but send me a copy of the book so I can look it over. Send John a copy so you could have the book and read it and bring it on so that you can have it. So, congratulations on your book signing and your book.
Woo!
All right. Go ahead, take us away, producer. All right, everyone, have a great evening. We'll see you next week. God bless.
Bye-bye.